Hey there, it's Colin from Thrive Themes, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through step-by-step how to build a high-converting WooCommerce store using Thrive Theme Builder from scratch. I'm gonna take it from this boring, generic WooCommerce theme like this and turn it into a high-converting, beautifully designed WooCommerce store like this in under 60 minutes. So if you don't have Thrive Theme Builder yet and you wanna build your store along with me as we go through this, make sure to go to the link in the description or visit thrivethemes.com/themebuilder and get your copy today. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Let's first start off here by getting started from the ground up. So I'm gonna take this under the assumption that this is going to be the first or one of the first stores you've ever built with WooCommerce, and definitely the first store using Thrive Theme Builder to build your WooCommerce store. So we're gonna start right from the beginning, and that's gonna be installing WooCommerce. So I'm gonna go into plugins, add new, and search for WooCommerce here. I'm going to install now. Okay, we can see here that WooCommerce is activated and installed, but before we actually get into the editing with Thrive Theme Builder and talk about some of the new features we've just added, we're gonna set up some things here on the back end regarding WooCommerce. The first thing is we're actually going to build what is called our shop's homepage. And in order to do that, you need to create a page that's just for your shop. So I'm literally just going to add a new page. Go to pages, add new, and I'm gonna title this shop, publish that. And you'll see the URL here is colinship.com/shop. This URL and this page is going to serve as the homepage for your shop. Now that's going to make sense when I show you this next step. So now we're going to actually assign that URL to the homepage of the shop. So I'm going to go into WooCommerce, settings, underneath products, then you'll see the shop page. Then you can select a page. So that's why we had to build it first, because it populates from your actual pages in your WordPress dashboard. So have the shop here and we're good. So go down here, save changes, and you're all set there. I'm not gonna go into all the details of the WooCommerce settings. There's two incredible ways to learn about WooCommerce. Way number one is their documentation. Yeah, it's a little bit dry, it's documentation content, but it's incredibly helpful if you find what you're looking for. And the second way is YouTube. Just YouTube the things you need step by step. Don't try to binge it all at once. Just as you run into problems, YouTube or Google search the problem and try to find the best answer you can. So with that, we're gonna keep on moving here by actually building out the category and product sections. So let's start by adding in the categories. So once you navigate over to the product categories, it's gonna be blank here outside of uncategorized, which is by default there for every store. So I'm going to just add a new category. So we're building a Thrive Themes merchandise store. This is gonna have some accessories, some mugs, some socks, some t-shirts, some hoodies, things like that. So I'm gonna do the first one here as apparel. So apparel, let's have the slug here also just be apparel. And no parent category for this one, no description, not worried about that. And what we're gonna do is add new category. Okay, there is one, and the next one here is I'm going to add is accessories. So accessories here, and we'll do the same thing here, accessories, okay, and add new category. Those are going to serve as our two parent categories. Next, we're going to actually add in the subcategories that are going to be nested underneath these. So in order to do that, the same process follows. So I'm going to have one that is going to be hoodies. Slug, I'm going to let that one auto-populate the slug. And parent category, I'm going to put underneath as apparel and add new category. Okay. One thing we notice here is it kind of has this dash. It's just a sign that it's nested underneath the actual apparel category here. So I'm gonna do the next here. I'm gonna add a t-shirt. Not gonna worry about the slug, gonna just keep it in apparel and add new. Next, I'm going to add the next couple of subcategories here, which are going to be mugs underneath accessories. You can see that one went underneath here, and socks underneath accessories. Okay, so there we have is our categories that we're gonna start with this shop. Now you could add categories at any time. You can even add them from the product page directly, but you don't have the same flexibility of changing the slug or really seeing them nested in the same way. So I decided to add it here first. Next, we're gonna actually start building out some products. So I'm gonna go to all products here. And if you have none, you can just create a product here. And it's gonna take you to kind of what looks like a page or a post in WordPress, but this is just for the WooCommerce shop. So for this, we're gonna be building a merchandise store. So here's one of the products. It is a Prism t-shirt in blue, okay? Let me copy this. So that is just the title. That's gonna show up as the URL. You can edit the slug right here if you wanted to as edit, and then you can make it whatever you want. I'm gonna leave this here just so it's a lot simpler. Next is the actual body text. And this is where if you have maybe a more complex product with maybe a lot of dimensions, sizing, or maybe embeds or videos or anything like that, this is where you can include all of that content. Now for this, it's a t-shirt. We don't have too much to say about it. So I'm not gonna include anything here. What I am gonna do is talk about the product short description. So this is where you can just add in, so Prism Blue t-shirt from Thrive Themes. So just write a basic description if you want. And next thing I want to talk about is the actual product type. I'm not going to get into the details. You've got many different types here, but for our sake, we're going to be using a simple product, and we're just going to set the price here without a discount for this one. So if you had a sale price, it's going to show the retail price, slash it out, show the sale price in a different color below it. So we're not going to do that for this product here. And the last thing underneath the product data section is the actual downloadable. So as you see here, so downloadable products give access to a file upon purchase. This is great for some people in our audience here that are watching, whether you're maybe a fitness coach, a productivity coach, or you sell products. So you're selling like a downloadable thing, a PDF, a tracker, anything like that that either needs to be downloaded once or can be re-downloaded multiple times by your customers. You wanna have it as a downloadable product. That way you can add in the file here, have download limits and all that kind of stuff. But obviously this is a t-shirt, it's not downloadable. So I'm going to check that off here and move on to the last couple of pieces. Next one here we have is the actual category. So you can set the category here. We already built them. So you could add a new one right within here, but it is much better to build the categories out first and then build the smaller products into your store. So this is a t-shirt. I'm going to check apparel and t-shirt. You could uncheck apparel and have it only show when t-shirts are filtered, but I like to have it be the parent and the nested category. Have that. Tags are gonna help with, you can have tags as a widget. You can also search, it helps with if you have a search feature on your store. So I'm just gonna do t-shirts, shirts, that's fine. I'm not gonna get too into it from there. And last but certainly not least is the product image. So right here is the first one. We have the product image. And if you have a different color, so this one I'm gonna do the colors as separate products, but you can add a gallery image. So I can add this green version here. And the featured image that's gonna show in the store, in the shop page, is going to be this blue one, but the other one that's gonna show below it that can be magnified or can be filtered through when a customer's on the product page is going to be this green one here. So that is pretty much the extent that you need to know about the actual product page. And then we just publish this here. That's it. So we built an entire product out. Now what I'm gonna do is go through and build up this entire store following that exact same process. I finished building out this store. We have 19 different products ranging from different colored mugs, socks, hoodies, and t-shirts. Now the next step after actually importing all the products is to set up how the store visually looks. With that, we're gonna start with the brand new Thrive Theme Builder WooCommerce Site Setup Wizard. One last thing before you actually get into the setup wizard is you're gonna wanna make 2 more pages. So you just wanna go to Add New again. And we're gonna start by making the checkout page. Just name it checkout and publish. Then if you go back here again, we're gonna make 1 more page, and this one is going to be the cart. So I'm just gonna do cart and publish this page. So this is gonna be just like we did for the actual shop page. So with this, we're gonna go back into the dashboard, and this way we can have the /cart and the /checkout page be live on our website. So in order to link these to our WooCommerce store, we're gonna go to WooCommerce, Settings, and instead of going to Products like we did before, we're gonna go to Advanced. Here, it's going to be pretty self-explanatory. You're going to have the cart, checkout. You also have my account and terms, but we're not going to get into those here. Those aren't included in the site setup wizard. But since the cart and checkout page are, I wanted to make sure we could link them up properly. So all you have to do is click on the dropdown here, and it's going to auto-populate just like the shop homepage did from your actual WordPress pages. So we're going to go to cart. Then for checkout page, we're going to select checkout. And then from here, all we have to do is go down to the bottom and press save. From here, all we have to do is actually go into Thrive Theme Builder. So now we're ready to actually go through the new and improved wizard. So just go over to Thrive Dashboard and click on Thrive Theme Builder. Now, if you're already an existing Thrive Theme Builder user, you definitely notice that the original wizard just has steps 1 through 8 here, and underneath the content section, step number 11. But if you have WooCommerce installed and activated, you now have these new steps 12 through 15 that allow you to set up your core pages of your WooCommerce store. So let's start off here with the shop homepage. So if we go here, we already have the shop homepage we want right here. So I like this one already. And if you want to change through, you could obviously just cycle through by clicking that right arrow here. You can go through and see what it's going to look like with your store, with your colors and everything else like that. Or you could also click on the drop-down arrow here, and you can easily navigate all the different shop templates we have right from the dropdown. So I'm gonna actually go back one. I really like this first template, and this is one we're gonna go with here. So press choose and continue, and then we're gonna get into the products. So here we have one of the products we already made in the store. It can already see all the features coming together, one of the templates here. Let's go to, let's do number 3. Okay, so here we have a totally different looking template here, but the colors are already matching. You can already see what it looks like with your different products in your store and the related product sections. So you can really get a feel for what it looks like. So for this one too, I really like the first one. So I'm gonna go back to number 1 and again, press choose and continue. Next, we're gonna pick the cart here. So for the cart template, you can go up here to, this is gonna be a standard one. There's obviously nothing in the cart. So we can go back up here and choose, let's go number 2. Here we go, this one has a different top section, some more color. And here, obviously there's still nothing in the cart. We haven't actually tried to purchase anything yet, but here we go. You can just cycle through the few different templates we have and choose and continue. And the fourth and final one is the checkout page. So here we have a great looking checkout page, which you don't want to overcomplicate. Your checkout pages are made to actually drive the sale and make sure that your customers can get what they're looking to buy. So we have a few different templates here you can choose from, and you can easily toggle them by the drop down here or by clicking the blue arrow here on the right. So I like this one here. We're gonna let this one be, and I'm gonna press choose and continue. So that's going to wrap up the setup wizard here. And now we're gonna get back into actually editing the different templates. Here we are at the template section within Thrive Theme Builder. And underneath the core templates, you're gonna notice that you're starting to see some purple kind of highlights here over the titles of some of the templates, and that defines it as a WooCommerce template. So you can either navigate the basic ones here, like the product one, or the shop template from the core template section, or the simpler way is to click the dropdown and underneath custom post templates, go to WooCommerce. Here is going to show all 19 of the different WooCommerce templates. It's going to show additional ones that you make, other ones that you can switch between, and everything else you need. So you've got the product, the account, the cart, the checkout, different variations of those, and the shop underneath list templates, where you can also add your category pages, which we're gonna do later as well. And you have the simple shops options here to choose from. So with that, what we're gonna do first is actually get into editing the store and keep moving. So I'm gonna press edit here for the shop. And before we actually start editing it, we have to make one tweak that's gonna take effect site-wide, and that's the header. So let's look at it from a conversion standpoint and just think about this for 1 minute. If you have a header and you have someone in your shop, that's great. But let's say they decide to go back to one of the blog posts and they're reading a blog post. So if they're reading that blog post and then they decide, okay, I'm ready to buy the shirt or the product or whatever, how would they get back to the shop? Because if you see the current header, they can't get back. Unless you had a direct link somewhere or they just had the brains to actually go back to the direct link, they're not gonna be able to find it. And the same is for the cart, because they can't find the cart. It's not already linked in the header, which is in kind of user experience, what Amazon and a lot of big Shopify stores have taught us is look for the cart and all this stuff in the header. So we're gonna just make a tweak once. I'm going to select the header and I'm going to edit the header. So by default, in the Thrive Theme Builder WooCommerce integration, when you have a new shop page, product page, cart page, all this stuff, the header is going to be inherited from your normal site header. So it's going to be inherited, the one you're using on your blog, your homepage, your about page, all over, it's going to be inherited onto these new templates. So all you have to do is change the header once, and these changes are going to take effect everywhere. Let me do that right now. So if I have it here, I can edit this, and I like the design, so I don't want to change that. All I want to do is add in the shop and the cart. I'm going to do that by going to Custom Menu. Underneath Menu Items, press Add New. I'm going to do the first one as shop. Okay, so that's colinship.com. Let me /shop, and let me apply that there. And let me add one more, which is going to be the cart here. Cart, and I'll have this be the same, colinship.com/cart. And let me apply that there. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to press done here and save that. So what we have here is the header now. This is the shop page. And if I go over to the regular colinship.com, you're going to notice that the header already changed. So I didn't have to go to the homepage and go to the blog post. It already changed. We have the blog, a blog post, the about page, even this reading list page, which is a 404 page currently, and back to the shop page. So that's all we had to do. And that was incredibly easy to do. And if you want, you could build a second header that's for your shop in different pages. Of course, you have that flexibility with Thrive Theme Builder, but for the sake of this example, it's much simpler to have one header that adds in these two links versus building a bunch of different headers. So let's go back into the editing process and we'll keep going from there. So the next thing I want to point out is the colors. So you probably already noticed that the colors here have already inherited from the actual branding colors I set up on my site. And that's because we have smart colors enabled by default with every one of the WooCommerce templates. So this blue is already inherited here. If I hover over these icons and zoom in, you can see that these here also have that blue. The filter here on the right-hand side. And in the bottom section here, we also have the blue. So everywhere I had that same blue being used now is already inherited. That's an incredible time saver. You're not having to take the color, copy the code, have it as a saved color. It's already done. You just have to keep adding pages and tweaking things as you go. So that's gonna be how the colors work. Now, it also works where you can have separate colors. If you want your store to have a different color, you totally can. You just go into the color palette and make the changes you want. And you can also change colors site-wide. If you tested a different color on your store with smart colors enabled, you could change the color of a bottom section or a top section, and you could change that smart color. And you can even do that right here by going to the actual style editor here, and you see the main accent. Well, I could change this if I wanted to, and that's gonna take effect across the site. Not gonna do that, I like this color, but you can do that and you can have your blog change as well as your store. So that's how that works. And that's gonna cover the kind of basics of the styling. So the next thing I wanna talk about is the sections. So the best way to look at all of the WooCommerce templates we have here and all these different page templates you need is breaking it down by its sections. So it starts by the top section, the content or the stop section here. Then we have our sidebar section here to the right. Then we have the bottom section here, and then of course the footer. So we're gonna focus in on the top section first. And here is how I want you to think of this. If you don't like how the top section is set up, pick a new one. Don't try to go and tweak the one here. This is made to be plug and play. Change the text to 40% off. Change this here to, I don't know, seasonal sale, I don't know, whatever. Change the button link. It's not made to change the design. Change at the image here. If you don't like the design, the best way to do is to change the template. So in order to do that, just go to top section here and replace. So you can see here, 98. Yes, we have 98 different top section templates you can choose from. The best way to do this is trust our design team. Our professional, amazing design team built these templates with a conversion focus in mind. So don't reinvent the wheel. Don't take a template, tear it apart, and try to build it back up. If you've got the design chops, go for it. If you don't, stick to the templates and tweak them so you get the result that you actually want. So we've got, let me zoom in so you can see these a little better. You can filter through these on your own, obviously, with your copy, but we've got minimal ones here, like a thinner guarantee one, a much bigger one here. We've got another big one here, just little banners, minimal ones, even ones for like courses or if you're selling ebooks or digital downloads like we talked about earlier. You can have courses here promote anything else you want. Tons of templates here. I currently like the one we already have set up, But these are so many options you have. So if you have one you don't like, tweak it, change it, and smart colors by default are gonna be enabled. So I'll show you one here. Add that in, already took the blue, super easy to do. So you don't have to worry about all the heavy lifting is done for you. You can just start plugging and playing and get the result you want. So let me go back to the other one I had here, and then we're actually gonna start making some subtle tweaks to it. The next section that I want to talk about is going to be the sidebar. So if I hover over the sidebar here, there's a few options here that are with the sidebar that are different than, let's say, a top section or a bottom section. So I'm going to point those out first, then I'm going to show you what you can change in the sidebar. First one here is the visibility. So this is going to be the most obvious. Now you can toggle the visibility off or on for a top section or a bottom section, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing, but for a sidebar, it's pretty noticeable. So turn it off there. Obviously, everything just went full width. So you can see it there. Visibility on or off. So I like it on. We're going to keep it on here. And I really recommend keeping it on for WooCommerce Store. And one other thing we added here is the position. So you can go left or right. There we go. So if you want it on the left-hand side, you can simply toggle it, go to the left. If you want it on the right, you can keep it as default and put it on the right. So I'm going to put it back to the right here for this example and keep going. Within the sidebar, you're going to have a few different product widgets included in it. And here in this template, we have currently the category widget. So these can all be found in the elements item here. So if you click on that and you search for WooCommerce, we've got all these different widgets here. So later in the video, I'm going to walk through exactly what these widgets do, but some of these are already in the sidebar. So if you want to look at these widgets, you can easily find them by searching there, but we're going to talk about that a bit later. So we have the categories. You can easily just move things around, delete them so we can change the filter. I'm going to turn this one off here. So I'm going to delete that. There we go. I don't really want the product sale to show right here. So I'm just going to delete that. And here we have just a basic content box with an image. You can change the text. So you can make it 40% off, link the button. If I click here, I can replace this image with something else I have. I could make it, let's make it a hoodie. Here we have the next here is just some other text you can have. It could be a new number, collection, and we have a post list down here that can preview different things. So you could set the post list to filter different posts. It could even link over to other products. But for this, I'm going to try to keep this sidebar minimal. I'm actually going to just delete this entire content box here at the bottom and keep a really minimal sidebar. Just the categories, the filters, and here we have is just a 40% off promotion that you could link to or even specify off, if it's hoodies or t-shirts or something else, that's what you can do here. So the sidebar, you can have unlimited control. You can add in new widgets. You can add in even reviews, recently viewed products, all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to keep it minimal there. And next thing I want to talk about is the shop section. So here we have, it's nested within a content area, but if you go down here, there is what's called the shop element here. You can see it in the breadcrumbs. So this is where we have the guardrails on. So if you've ever been bowling and you have ever used the bumper rails, it makes it where you don't get a lot of gutter balls. It makes it more fun and you're not really just worried about actually throwing everything in the gutter. So we kind of have a similar approach with this here. You can't design everything perfectly, but you can design bits and pieces to keep its integrity here like a normal standard e-commerce store. So you can filter result count on and off. Same with the catalog ordering. You can turn off the flash price. If you have a sale running, you can turn off the price. See the sale right there? I can turn that on or off. The title, wouldn't recommend doing that, but you could. Same with the ratings if you have reviews, which we'll add later. The price, wouldn't recommend that, depending. But if you have maybe like a downloadable product, you want them to read the description first, you may want to do that. That could be a good strategy for you. And one here is add to cart. So this is a merchandise store. That means they have to pick a size for things like a t-shirt, or a hoodie or something like that. So we want to have the add to cart actually off because they can't just add it to cart. They got to tell us what size they want. So we want them to go to the product page and then from there, pick the appropriate size, then to cart. Change the alignment, left for the text, center right, center looks better. And you can change the image size. So right now they're displayed full size for these containers. I'm going to show you there. I want to leave it full size. And you have a little bit of layout and position. So you can mess with the padding and the margins. I wouldn't. I'm not going to touch them. Our design team built these templates to just ready to go, ready-made. I wouldn't recommend messing with this unless you know exactly what you're doing and the result that you want to get. Same with you can add a background here, some colors to what would show up behind the product, and borders and corners, which would go around it. So if I add a little border here, it's going to show up there. Wouldn't recommend doing that. I'm going to go back to none and move on to the next part. So as you can see here, you can filter by the date published, product title, so alphabetical, random, menu order, all kinds of options. You can also do oldest first to newest first. So this is kind of standard ordering depending on how you have your WooCommerce store set up and what everything is titled. You can also change the column, so we can make it 2 across, make the images a little bit bigger, and we can maybe drop this down to, let's say, 10. Okay, so now we have 10 products per page and 2 across. So it's a little bit big for my liking, so I'm going to go back to 3. And let's go to 8. I'm going to make it 9 so it's an even. There we go. So we've got 3 rows of 3 products. So showing 9 products on the first page here. And again, this is just basic editing. So what you can also do is the last step to this that I'm going to show is edit design. So you click this here, and if you hover over some of the elements here, you have the option to edit them. Now it's minimal, but you can still make edits. You can change the layout and position. So borders, corners, some of the width, some of the fixed width and height, and the same with the border and corner. You could add a border if you wanted, like it's going to show up here around each of the products, make it bigger. Wouldn't recommend doing that. I'm going to turn it off. And one that you could do is you could change the typography of the text. So I'm going to make the titles actually a little bit bigger. I want to make these 21, and I want to make the price also, so let's make that 20. So you notice that I changed that once and all of these took effect. You can't individually change the titles of the products or the pricing, but you can have it change one place and it's going to take effect across all of those elements for all the products. But one thing I want to do here is the color. So if I hover over the price, I can change that to, I'll make it the green color we have in the store. So this is an accent color, but this will make the text stand out just a little bit more. And I'm even going to bold that. So the price is going to be bolded along with the title, but a different color. So the price and the title can have some separation between the two. So you just press done there, and I'm going to save the work. So we've gone through the top section, we've gone through the sidebar and the shop section. The last one I want to talk about is the bottom section. So the bottom section operates the exact same as the top section. You can replace it here. And we've got 64 different templates. So we've got a whole bunch. We've got testimonial templates. We've got very simple ones, call to action ones with more discounts, like this one here. Links, can promote blog posts, even can promote digital products, courses, free courses, whatever. Whatever you want to promote, you can easily do it within this section here. So I'm going to actually make a change to this one here. I'm going to go with, let's see. Let's make it, I'll go with this one here. And this here is just going to show basic rating, customer reviews, and we have delivered with, you could put UPS or USPS or whatever, and showing different payment options. So this one's a much more minimal. It inherited the smart colors, as you can see here, the stars and this excellent text. And all this is editable. So you can change this logo out here. This is just a standard logo image. So you could replace this with UPS or DHL or whatever you want. Same with these here. This is the credit card kind of element image here. You can change these out, add some, remove some, change the colors. All that stuff is up to you. And the same goes for the text. You can change the text title, the type, the font, the layout, the color, all that stuff. We're not going to get into that here. I think it looks good as is, but the options are yours. So that covers how you can navigate the top section, the sidebar, the shop section, and the bottom section. So with that here, we have most of this shop set up exactly how we want. So I'm going to save this one here. And next, we're going to preview this in the front end here. So I'll just go to colinship.com/shop. And there we have it. So everything is working as we wanted. We've got the header done, the top section here. We've got our products here, change the color there. I can filter things, and I can also do the categories. So we could have I could have just apparel show up because we set this up on the beginning. So just the hoodies and the t-shirts are going to show up when I filter apparel. So what I'm going to do next is, instead of getting into the product page, I'm actually going to build an individual category page. So on a typical e-commerce store, you're going to have not the same looking shop page for different types of products. So for us, we're going to have the apparel and the accessories. So I want to make a different category page for each. And in order to do that, we're going to go back over here to the templates. So within the WooCommerce template section, what you want to do is, underneath list templates here, you're going to see there's only one here. That's the shop template. I want to add new. I'm going to name this apparel category. You want it to be a list, an archive, product category. So you can see here, this is your standard default ones. You have all archives, date, authors, categories, tags, but then you get some WooCommerce ones. So here we're going to have the product categories. Then you can pick the category. So we've got apparel, accessories here. So we'll do apparel first. Start from scratch. I'm actually not going to start from scratch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick let's go with simple shop 1 and press finish. So here we have it created. We have the default product category here. And now what we're going to do is go in and actually edit this and show you the difference between the original shop template and how this actually fits in. Here we have is the brand new apparel category page that we just made. And I'm going to start tweaking some things around. So here we have is the top section. Let's replace that here. I'm going to add in, let's go with this one here. So I'll add that new top section. And here we have the content area. So I'm going to actually press show the sidebar. I want a sidebar here. So very easily, by default, this one wasn't on, but you can turn it back on by, let me go into here, on, or I can go back here and press show the sidebar. So there's that. I'm going to delete the image out of this. Don't want that there. I'm actually going to get rid of this couple of text boxes here. I'm just not really what I want for this. Let's get rid of the so lead generation form is here. I'm going to get rid of that one here. Okay, so I'm going to keep a really minimal sidebar. And then what I'm going to fix here is going to fix this margin just a little bit. So let me go here and I need to lay out in position. I'm going to remove that negative margin a little bit. I still like it, but let's go 20. We'll just keep it small. Okay, so here we have is call to action at the top here and a sidebar. So pretty simple. And then this is all the apparel and then a bottom section. So with this, I'm actually just going to hide the bottom section here. So I'm going to just toggle the visibility off and that will be it. So here we have is a lead generation form here at the bottom, which you can easily link with one of your autoresponders. You can obviously see the API connection right here. And you could add these things that are in here by default. You can remove them, keep them in, the choice is yours. That's what's so great about the different templates. But what I want to add to the sidebar is one thing that's great for navigating a store. That is going to be the actual categories widget. So I'm going to drag that in at the top, actually. I'm going to put it at the very top here. And you have different ways you can have this be laid out. So I'm going to have it be as a dropdown and show the hierarchy. So I'm going to show you what this looks like on the front end. But what this does is it allows you to, your customers especially, to navigate between these different categories. So I'm going to save this here. And we're going to go to the shop page. And then what we're going to do here is I'm going to select this category and I'm going to click on apparel. Here we go. This is the brand new one that we just designed. We have the header here is the same. We have a different top section, just things in the apparel filter. And we have all the changes that we just made here. Bottom section's hidden. Everything's good to go. What I want to show you here is what happens when you go back to, let's say, something else. So for here, let's go to accessories. We haven't built that yet. It takes you back to the default shop. Now it's going to have only the accessories show up, but you are back in the default shop. So what we're going to do next is do this one more time using a different template for the accessories category. I'm going to show one more time what it's like to actually add a new template. So click add new. I'm going to do accessories category. Make sure it's a list, archive, product categories. And for this one, instead of it being apparel, it's going to be accessories. And I'm not going to copy from category. What I want to do is we're going to pick a different one. We'll do shop 4 and we will finish. Okay, here we have it pop up again. So we've got the shop one, default product category for apparel, default product categories for accessories. So I'm going to press edit and then we'll start changing this one too. Here we have is our shop loaded up now for the accessories category. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on the top section. I'm going to replace this one here with a different one. Let's go with something minimal. We'll just go with the guarantee banner here. So it's inheriting the smart color here. You can change this background image here if you want to. And it already looks great, so I'm not going to get in here and tweak it. We have this sidebar here, which I definitely like. I'm going to remove the cart widget here. I am going to leave the sale products here. I like that here. And I'm going to get rid of the banners for this one here. And we're going to leave it like that. I'm going to add in the categories. So I'm going to search WooCommerce, and I'm going to use the product categories widget here. I'm going to drag that right there. I'm going to change how this displays by going over to the panel here, and I'm going to have it be show as dropdown and then show the hierarchy. This is just a little bit cleaner in my opinion. You could choose these. You could have only show the children, show product count. I think it looks best if you just do the show as a dropdown and then show the hierarchy of it. It's easy to navigate. So we've got the filters up here in the product section. I kind of like that for this one here. So people could search for different tags, titles, all kinds of stuff, and then you can obviously filter by price here. For this one here, I'm going to leave the product section here. So this is just showing one full-size image here and just the basics of it. So I'm going to just scroll down, show you bottom section here, really minimal. So with that, I'm going to save this template here, and we're going to tie it all together. So I'm going to go back over here to, this is the current accessory ones that we had before. So this is product category accessories. Now, if I refresh this page here, we go. The new effects took place. So we have this, still the product category filter here I added, and the sidebar additions we changed, and the new top section. So we have this one here, and if I navigate over to, let's say, apparel, it's going to look different. And if I navigate over to nothing by either going to the shop page at up top, or if you click on the X right here, it's going to take you back to the shop page. It's going to basically turn off that filter for being in that category. So we've gone through and built the accessories category, and we've built the apparel category. Next, we're going to get into designing the product page. We're going to want to go to, in still the WooCommerce templates, but we're going to want to go up to the product page. Now I'm going to just press edit here. Here we have is our product page template, and we have the header inherited, and I'm going to kind of just break this down very quickly. Got the top section here, which is this very minimal kind of gradient smart color background. We've got the product section here, and we have a sidebar. So the sidebar we could move to the left if we wanted. We could also hide the sidebar here if we wanted to not have that. We can show it. I'm gonna leave it here because it has some kind of good selling points here. You could have free shipping, you could have returns, money back guarantee, and we have some other things here. So we've got the tags, then we've got our related products here at the bottom, and a bottom section here that I built. So what I want to do is just kind of move a couple things around. First thing is I want to talk about what you can do within the product display options. So if you look here in the breadcrumb, this is going to be within the content area, you have the product section. And with here, it's kind of the same analogy with the bumper rails if you're bowling. We made it a little bit simpler and a little bit safer for you to edit and change things. So you can toggle off the title. I wouldn't really recommend doing that. And the price. Wouldn't recommend that either, but you could. And we have the short description here. We have the add to cart, the meta, and the review tab. So next, I want to show you what reviews look like in WooCommerce here. So let's flash forward here a minute, and I'll show you what some of the reviews look like on the product page. So here I will turn on the review tab here, and I'll show you what the reviews look like that we have on the front end. And next here, we have the related products and the bottom section. So for this one here, I'm actually going to hide the bottom section because think about it this way. If someone's on a specific t-shirt or product, you just want them to either add that to the cart or go back to the category page where the rest of the t-shirts are. I wouldn't recommend promoting other shirts in a smaller shop within that there. It's easy to navigate when you only have a handful of products. That works well when you have maybe hundreds or even thousands of products. Then it's good to have cross-selling between the pages. But for this use case, I think it's best to take it away. So you have that there. I'm going to make some other tweaks here so we can have the product gallery be a little bit smaller. So let's do just 2. And let's shrink it down a little bit. I'm gonna leave the magnifier on. So the magnifier is good. Let's say we have the hover, so I'll go over to the product section right there. So if you just hover over, it's gonna magnify it by default. And if I turn that off and save that, refresh here, no magnifier. So if you don't have a very detailed product, you may not need that. Let's go back to the editing here. And let's talk about the upsell products. So this is if we had upsell products to display. We don't have any upsell products here. This could be great for digital downloads. If you want someone to add this to the cart and then also add an additional product, great way to do that. We're gonna turn that off. And I wanna focus on the related products. So we have, right now it's 2 columns and 4 to display. We're gonna do 2 and 2. I actually kind of like 4, so I'll do 4. We'll leave it at that. I'll shrink the images down. That'll help make it I'll make it 80%, make it a little bit smaller. And there we have it. So those are the edits we're gonna make here. So I'm gonna save that, and I'm gonna show you what the reviews look like on the front end. So if I go here to this product, we have the header, obviously, the top section. We have this product here. You can toggle between the images, and it's gonna show the reviews right up here. So you can click that. It's gonna jump link you down to the review. So I just left a couple reviews myself here. So love this hoodie, best hoodie I've ever worn. And people can give stars and submit a rating. Now we have it set to where reviews are automatically displayed. You can have that setting in WooCommerce where reviews don't automatically populate, but we've decided to have them just be on there. So we have that there, and the related products showing 2 and 2, and no bottom section. So there we have is our product page. Now that's the most of the core pages that your customers are gonna interact with. We've got your shop page, you've got your basic, that would be kind of your basic category page. Then we built custom category pages for the apparel and for the accessories. Then we built out the product page and made the changes. But you wanna notice one thing. I didn't go in and change every single thing. I just changed the parts I needed to, and if I didn't like a section, I just swapped it out with a new one. And that's how you should really use Thrive Theme Builder in WooCommerce. Take advantage of our design team. They're incredible. They put a ton of effort and time into building the right templates. Just change them. It makes it a lot easier for you. So with that, we're gonna move on to the last couple of pieces here and then tie everything together. Here we are back at the WooCommerce template section. And what I wanna talk about here next is the cart template. So I'm gonna press edit for this, and we're gonna walk through what you can do to this page. Here we have is the cart page. So we have a top section here, which is pretty standard. I would recommend leaving something very similar or just removing the top section entirely. And then we have the sidebar. So for this, I'm just going to actually delete the image. I'm gonna get rid of this text again. I'm gonna leave that and the more info. So I'm gonna leave these options here. These are helping selling a little bit more, and a lead generation form here to collect the lead for customers that may have a question. So here we have, they can add a coupon code and update their cart if they remove something to refresh it or add it in more quantities or whatever. And there we go. Basic bottom section, which I'm going to remove. So let's just turn the visibility off for that one and save it. So that's the cart page. I wouldn't recommend changing too much here. If you go to the cart section, you can change the layout and position, the background style, or borders and corners. I would recommend leaving it. This is very true with a lot of Shopify stores. It could be a store that's getting maybe hundreds of thousands or millions of visitors a month. If you look at them, they have the identical default Shopify checkout flow from the cart all the way to the credit card going in, because it converts and it works. WooCommerce has a similar setup. I wouldn't reinvent the wheel with the cart and the checkout. Have fun with the shop pages. Have fun with these other pages, but not these ones. I would recommend just changing the colors, top sections or sidebars, and moving on. So with that, we have it saved here. We're gonna move on to the next one here, which is the checkout page. So that's back in the WooCommerce templates. And I'm gonna just click edit here, and we're gonna dive into this one. Here we have the top section here. This is different, so we'll leave this one here. And next day delivery. So this is, again, more things related to the checkout process. So free next day delivery, more social proof here, secure checkout. And this is something here I would not change. So you actually can't change a lot. You can only change the layout and position, the background style, things like that. But again, this is keep the checkout forms simple and as user-friendly as you possibly can. So leave this here, and we can also change the sidebar. I'm gonna actually leave the sidebar here. I'm just gonna make tweaks to cut that out, that. I'm gonna remove that, and the cart widget. So it just has these basic things here: returns, money back guarantee, and the checkout. So we have the secure checkout here on the bottom. We're good to go. So that's gonna cover the main pages here. Now the last one I wanna mention, which is gonna be very quick, is the account page. The account page is a great asset for you to use on your website if someone is buying a downloadable product. So if you're selling a workout tracker or a productivity tracker, this is a really good way to get someone who has an account on your WordPress website to be able to log back in and re-download the products. So you can see here their downloads, their orders. They can check on the shipping information, the delivery times. This is something I wouldn't recommend for a really small startup shop or individual products, but this is something you can think about once you get deeper into WooCommerce. So again, same things apply. You can have a sidebar show or not. I wouldn't get too crazy with this. And you can also edit the layout position. But again, keep it simple for these pages and move on to bigger and better things. So I'll save this here, and we'll go back over to the template section and do a quick recap. Here we are back at the WooCommerce template section. And what I wanna do here is just break down what we did and cover one last thing. So we have the product section here. We built the account page, the cart page, the checkout. Then if we go down here at the list templates, we have the shop, the apparel, and the accessories. So let's actually just go on the front end and take a look at what happened. So if I go to the shop here, and we can take a look at here, let's go into one of the products. Okay, this one has no reviews, so we'll have, you can change the quantity, add it to cart, related products, and the sidebar. So let's go back here, and let's go to different categories. So let's go to the apparel category. Okay, this is the new apparel category we made. These are gonna have the same product page, so these aren't gonna be any different. And let's go to the accessories. And here we go. We have the accessories one we made here. Let's click on one of the socks and the same product page. So this was all very easy to get into, to dive into this. We did this all within probably 30 to 40 minutes. And that was building a shop using all of our templates, going from literally a blank WooCommerce install to building it up to match our blog perfectly. So the last thing I want to talk about is we're going to go back over here into one of the templates, and we're going to talk about the WooCommerce widgets. With the widgets here, you can find them by going to the element panel there and typing in WooCommerce. So we've got some different ones here. So first things first, we didn't build these. These are already WooCommerce widgets that we natively integrate with. So we have the cart widget, which is going to display the actual cart on wherever you want it. So for this, we'll just drag it into below this here on the sidebar. This is going to show the actual cart widget here. So it's going to be whether customers can add or remove things from their cart. Another one here that's good to use here would be in your sidebar or anywhere on your store to help drive conversions, could be having a product search widget. So if we put this up here, I'll remove the cart one. If someone wanted to search for a specific product, this is awesome too. It allows people to find exactly what they're looking for. They can find it via titles, tags, and even things in the description as well. So that's really helpful. I'm gonna talk about two more widgets here that I think are incredibly powerful. And I'm gonna go back here, and I'm gonna talk about the recently viewed products widget. So if we drag this in here, this is gonna show the recently viewed products. This is good to use on a product page or even a subcategory page here because it allows the viewer to come back to what they already were looking at and possibly go back to the link and add it to the cart. So that's what that one looks like. And the last one here I want to talk about is going to be the product tag widget. So if we drag this here, I'm gonna put this one below there. And here's the product tags we made earlier. So I built some tags in the products of hoodies, mugs, shirts, sweaters, just different variations that people can easily search for or they can easily click on. So if someone's, hoodies and sweaters are the same thing, but depending on where you live or what language you speak, you may refer to them slightly different. So you can easily filter by tags, and that allows your customers to find what they want. So we have other widgets there that you can use within your stores, but they're a little bit more technical and you need to have a little bit larger of a store to take full advantage of them. But if you're getting started and this is one of the first stores you're building, I wouldn't worry about it. And there you have it. So we were able to take my normal default blog and turn it into a fully functioning WooCommerce store using Thrive Theme Builder in just under an hour. So this was incredibly easy. You watch me do every single step except for add in all the individual products, which only took about 10 to 15 minutes to do anyways. So with just a little over 60 minutes, you can have a fully functioning, high converting store ready to go. So if you, hopefully you already had Thrive Theme Builder and this was a watch along for you, but if you haven't, you've got to get your copy today. So go to thrivethemes.com/themebuilder and get your copy today. So you can start building high converting WooCommerce stores to go right along with your online WordPress business. So thanks for watching the video. And if you are new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel on YouTube if that's where you're watching it, or leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments about what you learned from it, what you want to see in future WooCommerce tutorials, or anything else. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.